Hey everyone, Grandmaster Ben Feingold here. I'm casual today. Casual Friday. Yeah, that's why I'm casual. Not because I haven't showered or dressed yet. That's not why. Oh, sorry, Family Guy's on. There's no sound, and I've seen it 20 times. Okay, anyway, today I wanted to do something. Um, I think I've shown these games before, like years ago, but there's some kind of theme. So normally in this position, I'm black, but uh, occasionally I play e4 and I play like some weird stuff against the Sicilian. So normally here I play c3. Not that I play e4 very often, but when I do, I play c3 here. But I have a couple of games where I played d4 and took with the queen. In a rated game in the last 25 years, I think I played knight takes d4 once in an open Sicilian. I lost that game to a low-rated player. Yeah, and I played queen takes d4 maybe 5 times, just to get a new kind of position. Okay, now this particular game is against Mark Esserman, who, as many of you know, plays the Smith-Morra gambit with white against the Sicilian, and he's pretty authoritative. He's written a book. I've, of course, written a book for the black side called The Feingold Defense, which actually he mentions in his book, because he wrote his book after mine. My book was written in 2000. His was maybe, I don't know, 2008. I don't know. Anyway, I was thinking about Esserman recently because he played in Reykjavik, and that just ended. And also at the U.S. Championship, which I was at a couple weeks ago, there's a lot of people there who play tennis, like Ray Robson and Josh Friedel and Mike Klein. And of all the tennis players in the United States, possibly the world, I don't know, that are IMs or GMs or even FMs, Mark Esserman's the best. He's sort of like, I guess, a weak pro. I guess if 6.0 exists, he's that. If it doesn't, then he's better than 5.5, for those of you who know tennis rankings. Anyway, so since I was thinking of Esserman, I thought I'd show you a game I played. I only played him once in a tournament. Okay, now this game was a bit unfair to him because I didn't know what he would play against queen takes d4. But this position right here, after bishop e7, is probably the most common after white plays queen takes d4. Of course, black and white can both play differently. So I basically just looked at this, and what happened was we were playing in a round robin in St. Louis. This was in 2012 or 13. I think it was 2013. And on this particular day, there were 2 rounds a day. And the first game I had was a very quick draw. I think my game ended in half an hour. And Esserman's game went all the way to the end, and he probably had, 10 or 15 minutes before his next game, which was with me. And so I prepared for at least 2 hours for him during the day, since my game ended early. And obviously, even if he had prepared for me at any point, he's not preparing for e4 because I don't play that. I didn't know what he would do, but I looked at this a lot. In this position, white can move his queen, white can play h4, white can play rook he1, white can play king b1. They're all reasonable. One reason to move your queen is to play knight d4. Okay, and I memorized this line, which is very rarely played, which starts with bishop takes f6. And it's basically played only by one grandmaster, Vadim Zvagintsev, who's about 2650-ish. He has a cool name. It starts with ZV. So anyway, it leads to this forcing variation here. And this position is very common after bishop takes f6. And I'm moving instantly, and Esserman's thinking forever. And we get to this position, and I play knight e5. So the idea is, if you play castles, I can put my rook on d7. If you take on g2, I can play rook g1, and my rook, can take the pawn on g7. I'm not saying this is bad for black, but this is the idea. Okay, so he played rook c8, which is the most common move. I played rook d4. Again, this is my prep. He played bishop d5. I played c4, bishop c6, takes, takes, rook d1. Okay, obviously threatening rook d8 check. And this is still my prep. And Esterman's thinking forever on every move, and he's playing fine. He castled, rook d7, takes, takes, rook c8, rook d2, still my prep. A5, and then king d1 is the last move of my prep. So I've used seconds, basically, and he's getting in time trouble already. This position should be a draw, but if I had to take a side, just a second, this horrible show came on, which I can't watch because it's horrible. You probably like it at home because you have some issues. That's friends. So yeah. Let's see. How do I change the channel? Change the channel. No, what a world. You guys can wait. Let's see. CNN? Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I actually have this weird TV thing called, what is it called? It's not on this. What's that stupid thing I have? It's pretty stupid too. Sling, that's it, yeah. So you get like 40 or 50 channels that you never watch, and it's like $40 a month. So you guys at home for cable, well, I mean your mom and dad, but cable for your parents costs like $100 a month, and you get like 100 channels, and you watch one or two of them. I get 40 channels, and I watch one or two of them, but I pay less. See? Wow, Trump's on TV now, and he's speaking to the NRA in Atlanta, where I am. Yeah. And I can't make any funny Trump jokes because they're too funny. Anyway, I said the over-under a few months ago would be March 2018 for when he's no longer president. That seems about right. He's already been talking about quitting because he's so stupid. Anyway, what were we doing? Trump, Seinfeld. Oh, chess video. Yeah. Okay, so I was saying this position is equal, but I'd rather have white because I think if somebody wins, it'll be white because of his past c-pawn. I don't really see how black's going to win. But okay, equal is the proper evaluation. I would just rather have white pieces. One of the reasons you play king d1 last move is now if I double rooks on the 7th rank, he doesn't take my pawn with check, so I can start doing stuff. Okay, he played g6, which is okay. And I did what I said I was going to do. And this is fine. Check. And I thought I was winning here because I missed the drawing idea for him, which is here. And now I thought I had unstoppable threat of playing rook to the 7th rank and then rook h8 mate. I mean, black has a free move, but I was like, well, so what? So it turns out this is a draw, but I didn't see how. I just thought I was winning. Okay, he played rook b8, threatening mate. So rook b1 mate. So I played king c1. And now he blundered with doubling rooks on the 7th. So I thought I was winning anyway, but actually black draws here with a very cute move, rook b4. It's a very weird draw. It's a perpetual that I haven't seen before. So now when I threaten all kinds of checkmates, he, oops, no, don't do that. Okay. He puts his rooks, he puts his rook on one of those 3 squares and puts me in check, and I can't escape the checks because his other rook is stopping my king from moving up. It's a really interesting perpetual. And okay, just a draw. I can't really go anywhere. So rook b4 was a draw, which neither one of us saw. It's a weird draw because you'd think rooks on the 7th rank, that's how you draw, but no. Okay, so he played rooks to the 7th rank thinking he was perpetualing me. And unfortunately, my king runs all the way to the king's side. And, yeah. And now he realized, well, he realized before. Now when he checks me and goes, here, I have king h1. And my rook on h7 is defending my h2 pawn. And I'm threatening rook a8 mate and rook h8 mate. So, okay, so after king f1, he resigned in this position. So that was an interesting game. I think I won because I didn't really get an advantage, but I got a position that was really hard to lose, which is good for me. I couldn't really blunder. And I had all my time on move like 22, and he had, 10 minutes left. And he had just played a 6-hour game. So he was exhausted, and he was way behind on the clock. So pretty easy game to win when I basically didn't have much of an advantage. Okay, so next game is same opening. Okay, I'm white against Thomas Ulrich. He's 2,300, and his sister Rachel Ulrich, I think, is 2,200 now. And they're both very tall, from, I guess, Chicago, Wisconsin, somewhere there. Okay, so same thing. This is Chicago Open 2014, maybe. And he played a6. So this is different than the first game where my opponent played knight c6 and I pinned his knight. And that actually explains the last move, because now when he plays knight c6, I can't pin his knight. So that's the point of a6. Okay, I developed my bishop. I saved my queen. And we just got a really unusual position that, you just play chess. I think b5 is a bad move because black hasn't developed his pieces. So I play a4 attacking, and I'm going to get the c4 square, and I'm softening up his queen side a lot. I think his pawn structure is pretty bad now. Played bishop d7. And I thought a long time here, and for once I calculated correctly, playing a sacrificial line. I think if I just play regularly, I have a good position because it's not clear what black should do. But, okay, a pawn is a pawn. So I took the pawn. I traded rooks, took the other pawn. Obviously, he thought that I couldn't do this because of queen a1 check. And I calculated that in this position, I would just keep attacking his king, and none of his pieces can help out. So, okay, he took, and I play queen b6. So I'm actually down a rook here, but I don't know what to suggest for him. His queen's out of play, his rook on h8, his bishop on f8. They can't help him. And if I play queen takes c6 check and he plays king d8, I have a queen and two knights attacking his king. And if the attack doesn't work somehow, I could perpetual him, or I could just play chess. I have a knight and a pawn for a rook, so it's not like I'm dead. But yeah, the engine actually says that white's winning here, so my rook sacrifice was correct. He can't save his bishop. For example, if bishop d7, then he gets mated. So, okay. So he played bishop h6, which is fine, because his king can run away. Yeah. And now I found a really interesting and strong way to play. You guys all know I like knight f5, and knight h5 isn't bad either. So I played the move knight f1, which is really strong. The idea is if it's my move, I could play knight g3 attacking his queen, and then I have access to h5 and f5 for my knight. So, he's going to get checkmated or lose all his pieces. Yeah, he doesn't really have a defense there. Another funny plan, which my opponent pointed out, was to not mate him and just queen my pawn. He actually didn't know what he would do against that since his queen is useless on h1. Funny plan. Okay, so he played queen g2. I played knight g3. Now if it's my move, knight f5 wins, knight h5 wins, queen c8 wins, everything wins if it's my move. So he played e6, stopping knight f5. And I get my material back. And with some extras. Okay, so now I'm 2 pawns up, but because of my suspicious technique, the game got interesting. It shouldn't be interesting, but I was a little too confident, I guess. Okay, queen g7. I guess I said I was 2 pawns up, but I can't count. I'm only 1 pawn up. So, all right, and I checked because his king's more exposed than mine, so I didn't want to trade queens. And always repeat. And c3, stopping queen takes b2. E5 because I want to checkmate him still. F6 is probably a good move here because his king gets to go to f7. That's when you know you're a good player, when you play f6 and it's good. Check, takes, knight d4, threatening e6. And I'm 2 pawns, hooray. Okay, now I'll trade queens because I'm up 2 pawns, but he didn't want to. Okay, and in this position, I knew if I traded queens I would win, so I played h4 check. If he takes my pawn, I check, and my b pawn is too good. I'm up a pawn, and okay. I'm sure the computer, if you let it sit long enough, will announce mate. Okay, so after h4 check, he played king h6, and I played h5, threatening queen g6 mate. And if he takes, I play queen f3, which we just looked at. And h5 is a really dumb move on my part. I just thought I'm threatening queen g6 mate. If he plays king takes h5, I play queen f3. And if he plays queen e8 or queen g2, stopping mate, I still play queen g6. And I win the king and pawn ending. And all of that's correct. But of course, black has a better move than all that stuff I just said. So h5 just loses a pawn and it's stupid. So I have to win the game again. He played e4, which I forgot about. Playing too quickly. Okay, so I'm up 1 pawn. But still winning because my pawns are so good. My king is better than his, and my queen's better than his. Okay, I won my 2nd pawn. He gets to check me a few times, but that's okay. I can get out. Up 3 pawns, up 2 pawns again, and queen and 2 pawns beats a queen, especially when he has no chance of stopping my pawns. It's hard to perpetual check me because my queen is always blocking the checks by putting him in check. Okay, and he played queen f7, which is a funny move. Looks like a blunder because I go here. And now it looks like he should resign. But this is the first time in the game out of, does it later, where he plays for stalemate. So he plays the move king h8. And if I take his queen, it's stalemate. Cute. So I played c5. And he did it again. Check, and okay. Just a pretty easily winning position because I have 2 extra pawns. And here he did it again. He played a very weird move, king to d7. That's a funny move. Sort of walking into, okay, but I mean, he has to stop me from, well, actually, I'm just going to play b4, b5, b6. So, okay, and I did. And, yeah, he did it again. He played queen e8 check, which is a funny move. So now I can promote to a queen. And he plays king d6. And now if I take his queen, it's stalemate again, which is funny because I played b4. So I stop that. So obviously, if somebody's going to let you queen with double check, you're suspicious. Okay, so I took a rook, which actually doesn't stop the stalemate because this is still stalemate, but it's less likely you'll stalemate with a rook than a queen. So I figure if I took a rook, he would realize that I knew what was going on, that he's trying for stalemate. I could take a queen and win, I could take a bishop and win, I could take a knight and win, but just took a rook. Also, we're playing in an open tournament in Chicago, so there's rooks everywhere because our rooks are off the board, but for a queen, I'd have to go find a queen. So, okay, and he played the only legal move. Actually, he could play king e6, but then I would take his queen with check. And I checked queen c7, and now when I take his queen next move, it's not stalemate, and I can win with an extra queen and rook. So those were a couple of games that I played back-to-back years with queen takes d4. Again, I don't play e4 very often, and when I do face an open Sicilian, where I could play d4 and knight d4, I never do that. I play queen d4 occasionally, like in this video, and I more often than that play c3 on move 3, so we get a delayed c3 Sicilian. So it's hard to prepare for me because when you're black, because I usually don't play e4, and when I do, I play sort of weird, and I play different stuff anyway. Just play something different and interesting. It doesn't mean I do well, but I have interesting games. So that was a couple of interesting games against Mark Esserman and Tommy Ulrich. I haven't seen Tommy in a long time. I actually see Rachel, his sister, in a lot of cross tables, but I don't see Tommy. I don't know if he went to college and stopped playing, or I just don't see him. Speaking of the Ulrichs, I wanted to give a shout out. Somebody I knew died a couple of weeks ago. His name was Eric Harklins. He was 102 years old. I just found out today that he died. He was an expert and master his whole life. Um, it's funny, when he got into his 80s, he went from master to expert. And then between the ages of 80 and 100, his rating actually went up. He was at his floor at 2000, then he actually got to like 2080, 2100. And I have more than one Cartland story, but his son is also a chess player. He's a FIDE master. He's in his late 70s. And his son's actually beaten me twice. I never played the father, but I saw him at a lot of tournaments. He was a very strong player, even when he was, I think his last tournament he was 99, but he was still expert strength. He wasn't losing rating points, let's put it that way. And in fact, when he was 94 or so, he won the expert section in Chicago in some tournament where he got tied for first expert, and he gained a lot of rating points. So shout out to Eric Harklins, rest in peace. I really enjoyed when I was at a tournament with him because he was mad when he lost. I like that. And he tried real hard to play. His son was a good player. So hopefully I can live to 100, but I think if I make it to my 70s, I'll be lucky. All right. We're getting the chess center going. They're going to get it all cleared up by May 1st, and we'll start putting stuff in there. So go to atlchessclub.com/donate and give us all your hard-earned money so we can have great chess over here. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Like and subscribe to my YouTube page. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.